The only downfall of these AVI type files like this particular camera uses, they're pretty good size. The HD camera is just absolutely outrageous. If I was shooting this video with that HD camera, it would probably be several gigabytes in size. This particular camera has got 2 gigabytes of space, but it'll record up to 2 hours of video. That HD camera, it's got 8 gigabytes of space, and I think it's less than an hour you can record on there for 8 gigabytes of space. That's the difference in the space required for that HD video. Hopefully that damn fool sees me. Looks like it. Cruising on down to North 18th Street up here. I'm going to go all the way over to Fairview Avenue and then back down home. These towns that name their streets by names rather than by numbers, for anybody that don't live there, it's impossible to find that address. You know, if they name it like Elm Street or Pine Street and crap like that, you haven't got a clue as to where that's at. But as long as they name it by numbers, anybody can find, you know, 4th Street, 5th Street, 6th Street by just counting the streets as they go along. But most of the streets in our town are all named by numbers except for a few unique ones. There's like Cobb's Court is an unusual one, and then the street that I happen to live on is called Fairview Avenue. It's kind of, they named that years ago because this whole area of the town up here got purchased by, well, they had a school, this county purchased a bunch of ground from a guy named Fairview. So they named it like the Fairview Edition. And then this particular was the only street over here for years. You know, there was nobody lived over here. It's only been developed about the last 40 years or so, but before that there was nobody that lived up here at all. But they had this street in there. So they named that doggone street Fairview Avenue. I remember when I bought this bike, I thought the guy that was bringing it on the motorcycle transport company would have a hell of a time finding my home. But anyway, he called me up on the telephone when he got about, I was about 100 miles from here, I guess. He was up in Minnesota someplace. But anyway, he called me up on the phone, said he was headed my way. He'd probably get there around noon. And I was going to proceed to tell him how to get here, and he said, it looks like you're on Fairview Avenue. That must change to Fairview Avenue right after 6th Avenue at 12th Street. How the hell did you know that? He must have had a GPS system on his truck that told him, got a map that displays, you know, street addresses just about everywhere in the U.S. Anyway, he drove right up to my house. I was impressed. He never called me again. He just fucking, around noon, I looked out the door, the truck was sitting out in the street. He was here. Yeah, he unloaded the bike and got it off the truck and pushed it in the driveway, and I didn't have to do nothing. I was pretty impressed with that service. Even though it did cost me about $500 to have that thing shipped from North Carolina. Back home again. I gotta turn this fuel back on.